from 1968 to now. Well, we'll just say forever. No, not really. But in the hours, in the hours of time, that's a pretty good bit of time in the media.
It is.
I see. Let's start with high school sports. Give them let's start with high school sports. I'm hoping that where you commented to me several days ago when we were talking about this program, that you do come up to JF Shields and broadcast some of those games. Shields has such a powerful history of basketball and sports. Tell us about sports.
They do. Here's the thing, Freddie, that I noticed, and it just kind of jumped out at me. And let's go back to the rural stations, okay? You will find invariably that a station in a particular town, and let's focus on Monroeville.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to broadcast high school football games on the local station here. They're going to do that. But when basketball season rolls around, you don't hear any broadcasts unless a particular basketball team gets in the playoffs. The same is true with baseball and softball. You don't hear any. Well, those kids work just as hard as the football players, and we felt like that we needed a vehicle where we could promote the entirety of the sports program in a particular school. And of course, in this case, we're going to be launching our basketball. I think our first basketball broadcast is on the 19th of November. But this is JF Shields is certainly going to be included in this. And the other different thing about this is we don't just restrict the broadcast to the boys' game. We also do the girls' game. So we try to promote the student athlete, and we try to promote the school. We're not interested if there's a problem in a particular school. We're not interested in opening that up for discussion. The administrators in a school that has a problem can very well handle those situations. We don't need to be airing dirty laundry for the public, okay? What we're trying to focus on is doing the positive. And it's working out pretty good. In fact, we're going to Abbeville, Alabama, which is about a 3.5-hour drive from here on Friday night to broadcast J.U. Blackshear in Abbeville in the first round of the state football playoffs. So it's the second season now, I suppose, is the way you would define it, because it doesn't matter what you've done in the regular season. When the playoffs start, either you win or go home. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Abbeville beat Headland from your commentary here and notes here in overtime. That must have been a pretty good battle. So
it was a good battle.
Yeah. Okay.
But let me say this while we were talking about football and about JF Shields. I want to compliment the coaching staff at Shields for the incredible job they've done, because a few years ago, JF Shields dropped football, and I think this is what, Freddie, the fourth year that the program has been back.
Yes,
and I just think the coaches have done a great job in a short period of time in getting this football program at Shields competitive. I mean, they won 3 games this year, and people say, well, wait a minute, they have a 3-7 record, but you don't understand the background of what the price these kids had to pay to bring it back to this point, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better.
I thought that the very first game of the year, when they took on Monroeville down there in Monroeville, and they had to go through overtime to get it done, I thought that was a tough challenge. Even though that's a rival and the journal is pumping, but that was a great feat and a great task. One of the things that I'm happy for is that we believe that we're going to have a consistent coach in place, because if he do be renewed as the head coach he will be the first one in nearly 10 or 12 years to make it to 3 years. So inconsistency in the coaching staff, that causes a program to not flourish like it should. But consistency is a good start, and I agree with you. I have met Mr. Jones and reacted to Mr. Jones, and I think he'll make a great coach for DFC. Let's go to Gospel and Grits with Jim Dewitt. Talk about that. Tell me about gospel. I like gospel and grits.
Gospel and grits. Well, I can't claim the originality of the title. I was broadcasting ball games up in Georgia, up in North Georgia, a few years ago, and we were getting ready for an early game, and I pulled into a Hardee's in Cummings, Georgia. And they had a big sign out front said "Gospel and Grits," and I walked inside, and there was a group there, doing Bible study while they were having breakfast. And I said, "Man, that's great." So I borrowed the phrase, and I write a column called "Gospel and Grits," and it just kind of deals with the raw emotions that Christians go through. It's like that old bumper sticker of years gone by. Christians aren't perfect; they're forgiven. Thank God for that. And I just try to share with my readers, some of the things that we deal with as Christians. It's always not a smooth ride. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but we were instructed through the Word to persevere and to overcome. And I try to encourage people through that column to do just that.
Mm-hmm. And I like the way you started off with the menu for the morning.
Yeah.
With the menu for the morning. I like the fact you said breakfast and scrambled eggs and cheese, creamed beef on toast, grits, buttered toast, sliced pineapple, coffee and orange juice. Ponder this, and here we go. I like that, Jim.
Yeah.
That's creativity and vision. That's what keeps radio alive, man. Go ahead.
Of course, I love to eat, Freddie, so, I can come up with some menus.
All right. Okay, let's go back and check on another one. DMG Live. Tell us about it.
DMG Live is where you can find our sports broadcast. We do some church services on that particular thing, DMG Live, but that is where all of our live broadcasts are. And, of course, the Internet format is when you do a live event, whether it be a church service, a ball game, or whatever, as soon as you complete the live event, it automatically goes into the archives where it remains for 1 year. So during that time, anytime you want to go back and listen to it again, you're free to do that.
Yeah, I'm very much familiar with that. In my time now on the air, I have 1,700 or so broadcasts in the archives here at Blog Talk Radio. And I always tell people I'm on 24 hours a day. You can go to the search engine, same thing with your archive, go to the search engine, pull up anything you want to search for and listen to it at your own leisure. That's the power of the Internet over regular radio.
And here's another thing. You can
go ahead.
The other thing is you can go on our site. You can once you get to the DMGnews.com page, you can click on local high school sports, and you can get sports news and information there almost immediately as it happens, rather than having to wait for the newspaper to come out on Wednesday afternoon. You've already got it.
That's it. That's absolutely awesome. Okay. On the homepage, it gives you all of your stories. I went through them briefly a while back, and I'm going to just call the story for this week, Monday, November the 4th. We already talked about male funding indoctrination in Florida City. I think that's atrocious. I don't see nowhere that is educational. That is leading kids in a path that they don't need to go on. Go ahead, talk about that, and we'll move to the next one.
Well, as I stated earlier, I think it's deplorable. I think it's contrary to the word, that style of behavior. I think it is outrageous that a mayor can use taxpayer money to try to fund the indoctrination of children in this alternative lifestyle. But let me go a step further and go past Orlando, Florida. Let's go to the state of California. They have just passed legislation regarding their public schools in the state of California, and in their curriculum now, they have approved the teaching of pedophilia as a sexual orientation. No different from transgenderism or homosexuals or anything like that. And they're teaching in those schools now that pedophilia is a lifestyle and should be recognized as a lifestyle the same as these other things that I have mentioned. That's terrible to think that we've allowed things like that to take place in this country. And can you imagine third, fourth, fifth graders sitting there and being taught all this filth and saying it's okay for pedophiles to flourish? I don't get it. I do understand that these things, as I said earlier, must take place before the second coming of the Lord. I understand that, but it still doesn't make it any easier to live in a world where all of a sudden the heterosexual now is the one that's quote unquote abnormal, and the homosexuals, the transgenders, the bisexuals, the pedophilias, all those now in the eyes of many governments have become the norm.
Now, in our Sunday school lesson yesterday, we were discussing the meaning of reprobate, and God says that in His Word, when you decide or choose to live a lifestyle or do whatever you want to do beyond the teachings of Jesus Christ, God Almighty, our Creator, He will let you go into that and become a reprobate. In other words, you just becomes an absolutely zero in the eyes of God as to what you're doing, because He tries to save you, send you in the right direction, tell you the right way, but you want to choose to be a hog in a pig pen. And He says, I will let you, I'm using that as a metaphor, and you know exactly what I'm speaking of. I will let you become a hog in a pig pen, and you will reap the rewards of a hog in a pig pen. And that's with lifestyle.
You will.
Whatever you decide to do. You have the mind to choose the right, and you have the mind to choose the wrong. But if you want to choose to be a hog in a pig pen, Jim Dewitt, Freddie Howard, I will let you be a hog in a pig pen. And that's what he said. That's what reprobate
And I would,
means.
It does. And I was reading a couple of days ago, and I think it was, I think this was in the United Kingdom, that some guy was fired from his job because he made the statement, you ready for this? Only women can have babies. and that statement they were saying is offensive to those people who are homosexual. Well, that's crazy.
Jim, no, I'm laughing, but that is absolutely crazy. God created women to have babies. He didn't create no man to have no baby.
No, the plumbing's different.
We just answered that question. Okay, 40% of voters impeached. 40% of voters impeachment a partisan ploy to oust Trump. That is a battle, isn't it? Democrats, I'm a Democratic, I don't know whether you're a Democrat or Republican, Independent or what, but that has been brewing for so long. But I want to go back just before you go into that.